All right, guys. Let's start with uh, unit. This is book two again. You're still using book two, unit four, page 38. There it is, down to bottom here. Page 38 behind me here is 38. You can see that uh, in your book. Okay, I think once again, I just want to remind you of a few things that when you enter a conversation in English, it's just the same as in Korean. I think uh, there's a certain assumption. There are certain people assume when I'm listening, when you listen in English, it's just like listening in Korean. You're listening, you're expecting some things, right? You're not expecting other things. Uh, some things are inappropriate, some things are appropriate, right? So we have these kind of things built into our heads, these ideas in our heads when somebody is talking to us, or when I'm responding to a question somebody asks me, they have a certain expectation. Now, that doesn't mean you have to follow that. You can surprise people, and I think surprising people is really an amazing thing to do. I think it's the best thing you can do. I think the best, most entertaining, and most interesting people surprise us. Like I said before, I think I mentioned when I teach a class, philosophy class, or negotiations, or presentations, every class I try to surprise my students, right? Uh, Trying to, make them think outside the box, right? So that's really important, right? And I think that's a skill you'll learn throughout your life, but the sooner you learn it, the better off you'll be. I think I talked about that before. All right, so when I ask the question, or if I say to you, hey, this is last week, right? Hey, my friend has the same dream every night, right? My friend has the same dream, right? Some people are like, well, gee, you better can you take him to the doctor? But I think that's a that's a fine that's a fine response. I'm not going to say it's wrong. The English was fine and everything else, but the point is, I think I think what the speaker what would keep the conversation a little less heavy. Remember talking about illnesses and sicknesses and mental problems of, and disease. These are things that are not good for facilitating conversation unless you know the person really well already. I think we're operating in this English zone. We're not talking about just talking to our best friends. If you were talking to your best friend, you probably wouldn't be using English. Your best friend's probably Korean. So I think unless your best friend's an American or Canadian or something like that, then of course, but generally speaking, I'm referring to talking to people that we don't know very well, new people, breaking the ice quicker, right? Or people you've met once or twice before only, not best buds, not BFS, all right, best friends forever. All right. So when I say, "Hey, my friend, he has the same dream over and over again," the response I think would be, "What does he dream about?" That's that would be what I. That's the expected response, right? And that keeps the conversation going, right? Like, wow, wow, really? What does he dream about, right? Or if somebody's sitting on the side on a bench on a really hot day and is reading the newspaper, uh, I think, hey, excuse me, what is the for? What does? Can you tell me what the forecast is going to be like? Or, wow, it's really, really hot, man. Is it going to be hot like this tomorrow? That's a good way to facilitate conversations, right? Yeah. So there are certain expectations. It's kind of like nunchi, right? When I remember when I worked for a company out in Yoido, I worked there for like 14 years, 13 years maybe, I don't remember. Anyway, I worked for them. I did their PowerPoint presentations, all their stuff in English. I had to edit it. And it was really a hard job because, you know, uh, I understood what the audience would want, right? And I had to bring that into their presentations. It was really hard. But also, working in a Korean company as a foreigner, there were times when I misread the nunchi, right? I was hired to go in there, do the work. If there wasn't much work for me, just to chat with people, keep their English fresh, blah, blah, blah. Then a new boss came in, and a new boss came in, and he was an older guy. He hated that I did a lot of work by email. He wanted to see me there. I don't, that's one thing I couldn't stand about that guy. He's one of those guys. He thinks you're not working if you're not sitting in front of him, playing Tetris. It's a joke. It's a joke. I really, to be honest, I didn't like the guy. He tried to be nice, and I was nice to him, but he didn't like that I was walking around talking to people, right? You know, and and I still did it anyway. That was what I was hired to do, right? But he didn't know that, or he didn't want that. So suddenly, because I had a new boss, the expectation of me had changed, and my job had changed. I didn't catch it. Apparently, he was really upset that I was going around disturbing people, practicing, helping them talking English. Hey, what's up, buddy? Blah 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 blah. Yeah, you know, what I was actually, and so yeah, so even the translator, there was a translator there. She was really smart. She had good sense of what people want, and she was really amazing. But she came up to me and she said, "David, I'm really surprised that you didn't catch the nunchi, right? I'm surprised that you didn't know what's appropriate and inappropriate with the new boss, regardless of what I was hired to do, right? I had to be in the situation itself, right? A new boss, new expectations. And I didn't read it. And it caused a little bit of trouble for me. Anyway, he was nobody. He got booted out, so I ended up lasting longer than him. But it doesn't matter anyway. He was just an old timer, you know. He didn't get it. And to be honest with you, it was my screw up too, right? I didn't read the situation. Okay, so I just wasted 7 minutes. So, but anyway, okay, so here. So remember that entering a conversation is a new situation. It's a new nunchi. You read the situation. Keep it moving. Keep it interesting. Don't get too heavy. Unless it's a philosophy, I like heavy. But unless but not when I'm meeting people for the first few times. I remember I was in the supermarket. I teach philosophy here at Sejong. And I remember I was at the supermarket. Some guy from Nepal came up to me. He's a tall guy. I never saw him before. And he goes, "Hey, I think I know you. My friends all took your philosophy class." And I'm saying, "Oh, cool. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm shopping. I don't really want to." Anyway, he's, I was trying to give off signals that I'm kind of in a hurry here. I'm in a supermarket. And I got a basket full of stuff and I'm tired and I just want to go home. Anyway, so he goes, "Wow, wow, philosophy, that's cool. He asked me, can you tell me, in one or two sentences what the meaning of life is?" I'm like, "Dude, really? Is this, I don't know you. I don't want to go into it." And there's no, personally, I teach my students that there's no answer out there. It's not like the answer to meaning of life can be categorized in two or three sentences, right? Maybe I could write a book or three or 500 on that subject. In any case, it was a little bit too heavy for the first time, right? So, and I didn't know the guy. I don't want to go in that, you know. Anyway, once again, he kind of misread the nunchi, right? Okay, anyway, let's go here. Sometimes in a conversation, we don't need full explanations of things. Often we just need a quick overview, um, a quick summary. We don't need too many details. Um, we want to keep the conversation going. Sometimes too many details can bog down the conversation, right? Can make it bog down means make it tiresome, right? We want to keep it moving, right? Got to think of the audience. Okay, so here. Let's see. What do you think the underlying expression here means, right? We have a lot of festivals and things like that. We have a lot of festivals and things like that. What does that mean? Things like that. What is he referring to? Festivals, he's a Hispanic guy, maybe some Hispanic festivals he's talking about, right? Uh, what he means is celebrations, right? Festivals and celebrations, things like that. Just summarize. He's just generalizing things. Okay. Now let's take a look at this conversation, and we can kind of analyze it, and then I will upload some questions or some situations for you to respond to using uh, vague statements, and we'll go into those here. I think, uh, yeah, vague statements. Let's just go here. All right. Are you going to the fiesta? Fiesta is a Hispanic kind of festival. Are you going to the fiesta this weekend? I don't know. It depends. What is it exactly? Now, she doesn't want to give yes or no answer at this point, right? You remember when your friends say, hey, let's go. Hey, Dave. My friends used to do this. Hey, Dave, you want to come and a bunch of us are going to a bar tonight, have some beers. You want to come? And I'd be like, you know, who else is going to be there, right? Bad manners, right? It's like, that's kind of thing you don't really want to say, right? That makes the other person asking you feel bad, right? It's almost like saying, hey, what are you doing tonight? Do you want to come and join us? I'm busy. That's another one that's a little bit rude, right? I'm busy tonight. I can't. Yeah, I'm too busy for you. That's, and if I say, well, who else is going to be there? Then that means that that person or his closest friends are not that interesting, or I want to be with interesting people, not you. So a better way to respond is, hey, are you doing anything? Are you going to the fiesta this weekend? I don't know. It depends. I don't know. It depends. Like that. Just say it that way. I don't know. It depends. What is it exactly? Well, it's he's thinking, right? It's a festival. I think he senses here that she doesn't want to give a commitment, yes or no, right away, right? So he's a little bit thrown. But that's you're right. He has to provide that information, right? Well, it's a festival. It's a lot of parades and stuff like that. Okay, parades and stuff like that. Um, really, what he means is etc. etc. Okay, we don't say etc. in English in conversation, and I don't even like etc. in in writing. I was taught never to use it unless we know exactly what you're talking about. Let me get to that in a second. Okay. Uh, it's a lot of parades and stuff like that. Everybody gets dressed up, You know, Here's another vague statement, right? You know what I mean, right? Oh, sorry about that. You mean costumes? Yeah, and there's hundreds of cute little kids in purple and silver outfits with makeup and everything. And everything. That's another vague statement. We don't have to go into exact same detail. We don't have to list 15 different outfits, right? Or 15 different things that little kids do, right? Piñatas or something, right? Hitting the donkey with candy inside. We don't have to say all that stuff. We're just generally getting to the point. She says, uh-huh. Oh, I'm not big on parties. This is something I'm going to talk about later. I think because I skipped a chapter in this book. What this means is it's a polite way to say, it's kind of Biolo enjoyo. It's kind of a polite way to say, I'm not. If somebody says, do you want uh, some more food? And you say, would you like some more side dish here? You say, Biolo enjoyo. Well, you could just say, well, I'm not big on nachi Bokumbap, something, whatever. Okay, so I'm not big on parades. Yeah, it's a kind of a polite way to say I don't like those, right? Um, It's a nice, polite thing to say. Right? Wait, remember that one. Yeah. Uh, say it. Don't say I'm not big on parade. Don't do it that way. Say um. Yeah, I'm not really big on parade. So that's a good, polite way to say 별로 안 좋아요, right? Okay. And there's good food. You can get all kinds of tacos and things. Once again, tacos, burritos. Well, what else? Mexican food, tacos, burritos, and all the whole list. You go to go to some Mexican restaurant. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Do you want to go? Well, maybe. Okay. Once again, she's being vague. She's not being completely straight, right? Okay. So here's some more examples. Do you want to go to a restaurant to celebrate birthdays and stuff? Or do you go to a restaurant to celebrate birthdays and stuff? What do they mean by and stuff? And stuff means holidays. What else does it mean here? What else do we celebrate at restaurants? Holidays. I don't see birthdays here, but is there another one? Anniversaries are celebrated there, right? You take your 100 days, whatever, your girlfriend, boyfriend, you go to a restaurant, okay? Things like that. Um, Anniversaries, even the baby's first year, right? The 1 year anniversary for a baby, 1 year old party, right? You go to a restaurant, right? But we don't have to list everything, right? We can just say and stuff, right? Once again, this is like etc. When you're writing, really don't say etc. in your answers. Okay, I don't like that. Uh, Only time you use etc. in writing is when we really know what you are talking about. We know exactly what you're talking about. For example, here I got my little thing here for records my banjo. You see my banjo back there. When I record, I don't use this anymore, but I could say, this little machine here, this little booster here, this thing starts at one and goes to two, three, four, five, etc. Right? You know what comes next. Right? We all know, the whole world knows, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? So that's the only time you would ever use etc. in writing. If we know 100%, people, what my old eighth grade teacher told me back must have been like 1982 or something. She said, people who use etc. run out of ideas. She's right. She was a terrible, she was a mean teacher too, right? She's an English teacher. She was mean. But anyway, okay, so we know what we're talking about. We know a nice place. They bring out cakes and everything. Okay, what does it mean? Bring out cakes and everything. Birthdays and stuff. Birthdays. You go to a restaurant, birthdays and stuff? Yeah, we go to a nice place. They bring out cakes and everything. And everything means sing happy birthday. Some places do that. What else? What else is there? What else? Candles. Candles. We don't need to say, no, they bring out cakes and everything like that, stuff like that. Are you into traditional music and stuff like that? What else? Can you see anything up here? Stuff like that. Cultural events, right? Traditional music, uh, Korean traditional music, cultural events, folk songs. Yes. Are you into those things? Yeah, we have a lot of musical festivals and things like that around here. Uh, Things like that. Concerts, right? Concerts, cultural events, folk song, dancing, maybe dancing, right? Are you into traditional music? Stuff like that, dancing. All these could be interchangeable in these, right? Dancing. What are you doing for New Year's? Well, we all know, uh, I'm going home. I want to see my family and everything. I want to see my family and everything. What is he referring to by and everything? Here we see my old friends, spend time at home, right? Resting, maybe have your mom cook for your dad, cook for you. You don't have to do it. Just take a rest, right? Take it easy. You don't have to list everything. Keep the conversation moving. You know, you don't have to repeat things that we all probably already know. All right, so let's go to these vague responses. When you don't really want to say yes or no, right? You can use these responses. Oh, you know, if you're not sure about your answer, or even if you don't really want to share, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe. It depends. Those are all very good ways to uh, not be clear, right? To avoid being clear, right? I don't know. It depends. I think she's being polite, right? She doesn't really think she's interested, but she doesn't want to be rude, right? Okay, so I think that's all I have here. I'm going to give you some situations where you can use either these vague responses, like you don't want to say yes or no, um, or vague responses like and everything. So, like these, right? Oops, like these, and stuff, cakes, and everything, and stuff like that, things like that, and everything. Or you can use, I'm going to give you some other ones where you can use these. And then, I don't know, I'm not sure. Uh, Usually this is followed by a question, right? Once again, I think I mentioned that to a lot of people. When you respond, are you going to the Haebongchon big party in Haebongchon? uh, I think that's Karasukyo, not Karasukyo, something like that. You're gonna go down there and to the big festival. And he goes, um, I don't know, it depends, or I'm not sure. And then ask a question. Uh, what happens down there? What's going on? What do they do? What's it like down there? Right? Get some feedback before you make a commitment. Right? That's the thing. Okay, so I'm going to give you some situations that you have to reply to, and that's it for today. Sorry to go so long. I think this is going to be too long. I try to keep this one shorter. All right. All right. I'll talk to you in a bit. Take it easy.